1-2 pitch. Open swings. Hard shot. Through the right side. Base hit. Washington to third. He gets the green light. And the throw. Not in time. Hogs win. The Razorbacks finish the sweep of Missouri. And that's how you do a Sunday at Baum Stadium. Welcome back to halftime on this Tuesday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It is May the 12th. And if we were not in the middle of a shutdown, Arkansas baseball would not be playing today. But they would have been heading to Knoxville tomorrow for what would have been the regular season-ending series with the Tennessee Volunteers, and then heading off to Hoover for the SEC tournament. Obviously, that has not happened. Oh, and it's very sad. But we've gotten used to it by now, I think, and we'll talk some Razorback baseball here with the one and only Dave Van Horn joining us here on halftime now.
We're still trying to get connected with him.
Oh, we're still trying to get him. All right.
Nope, we're good.
All right. Dave, thanks for coming on the show, man. It's good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm watching it rain all day up here in Fayetteville, so not much going on today.
No, I guess not much going on today. I read something in the Democrat Gazette today that taught me something about you. You pay very close attention to the state of your field, how good it looks, how well it plays, the cleanliness of the dugouts, and the field itself. And I learned about where that came from in Scotty Bordelon's piece today. So did you learn, were all these instincts about keeping the field and dugout clean and the field perfectly manicured the way it is, it all comes from your days working at a youth baseball complex?
Well, that was definitely a start of it. That was 7 days a week. It was basically there was no chance of not working unless it was definitely a rainout type situation for those facilities. But we did a little bit of everything, and we cleaned the place up every morning. That was the first thing we did from the night before, and then we fixed the fields and got them ready for the games that night. And the only thing we didn't do was mow the grass. They probably didn't want us out there on a big mower, but we did all the other stuff. And I did that for a couple, 3 summers before I was 16 years old, and used that money to buy my first car.
So this is one thing. I might have asked you this a time before. You probably notice it. I think Baum-Walker Stadium is the only field that we play on each year that has 0 artificial turf. There's all grass and real dirt. I mean, there's some fields. I thought about this the other day when I took my bike up to the Pitt baseball field. It's all artificial turf. Why is Baum-Walker Stadium one of the only college park I know that has 0 artificial turf? For me, that says something about the program and how it respects the game.
Yeah, we're probably one of the few programs now that at least we still have real grass in foul territory around the home plate area and the first and third base dugouts. A lot of facilities have, if they have grass surfaces, they put the field turf or the fake turf out there just for maintenance issues. I'm kind of in the middle on it, honestly, because in fall ball and fall baseball, we tear it up so bad, and we're trying to work. And then early spring, which is honestly still winter, we're trying to baby that grass. The groundskeepers are trying to cover it all the time. It's really kind of a pain, to be honest with you. We like to do a lot of bunting and different things back there, in pregame or pre-practice and during practice. We tear it up pretty good. But it is it's more just a kind of a maintenance nightmare. I guess if you ask me straight up how I would like it, probably for what we do with all fall baseball being out there so much, I would almost like to have some of the synthetic turf around the home plate area and foul territory. If we could have it where it matched the field in the spring as best as possible. But for now, it is what it is, and it is beautiful, and we do take care of it. It is difficult sometimes.
Speaking to Dave Van Horn here on halftime, Coach Van Horn, just want to ask you a little bit about the the stuff coming around with the Major League Baseball draft possibly being shortened to 5 rounds in the MLB draft. What do you think this is going to do to Arkansas baseball, but mainly just college baseball as a whole, having only 5 rounds in the MLB draft?
Well, I think what it's going to do, it's going to send a few more players to college, and it's going to keep a few more players in college for another year. Like a lot of programs in the SEC, we're going to have, 5 or 6 or 7 guys that would possibly go in a normal year, possibly be drafted in anywhere from the 6th, 7th round all the way through the 25th round, where they could still get a little bit of money. The 6th through the 9th, decent money. 11th round, sometimes that's been kind of the magic round where they'll save money in the first 10 rounds to give to that draft, and that's usually the start of the second or third day there. And we've lost a couple of kids in that round in the past that have been pretty good, but it's going to make college baseball. I would just say a little bit older, maybe for you too, and it's also going to get a few really good players to skip going to professional baseball as a later round pick and go to college. And I think it's a good thing, and I think down the road it's a good thing for those kids because so many times guys don't make it to the big leagues. They don't have their degree, and they don't know what to do for a while. And I've watched it more times than not. And, realistically, if I'm a parent of a really good player that could go really high, but he's got a good scholarship to a good place, I would take no less than $2 million to buy my son out of college. That's just the way I feel. Because I really feel like that most of the kids that get offered 800, 900, million, 2, 3, if they go to college, they're going to make every bit of that and more, and they're going to be a lot more prepared to have success in the minor leagues because the whole goal is to make it to the big leagues and stick. And it's not just about the signing bonus. And, they give up 40% of that right when they sign that contract as well to taxes. So, but we don't have enough time for me to talk about that today.
You're talking about the ability of players to grow properly, emotionally as well as physically. You're saying forget about signing bonuses and stuff. You're selling the idea here, and I think I agree with you. You learn the game on a more consistent basis. You learn about yourself a little bit better. You learn how to be a better teammate going to the college game. Is that something you can agree with?
100%. You really learn about being a teammate in college. If you're playing to win, all for one for all, in pro ball it's different. It doesn't matter. From the day you get there, you're competing against everybody that's wearing the same uniform you are. And you're just trying to move up. You've got some friends, but it's just a different feel. It's a job. And, you got some money in the bank, but your friends are in college. Friends are doing something else. And, you're in there with kids from all over the world. And, nobody's really watching you. I've seen a lot of things happen. I've seen habits develop, and it can happen anywhere. It can happen in college. But I always just tell kids, if you're going to skip college and you really want to go to college and that's what you've been thinking, don't let them buy you out of college because that's what they're doing. They're buying you out of college with a bunch of money. Now, there's a few kids out there that are really good baseball players that are, they've never planned on going to school and, maybe would struggle in school, and maybe they're mature enough to get into the minor leagues. And, some of these advisors and agents that are dealing with our kids, the good ones look at that. And most of the good agents, they want their kids to go to college unless they get a bunch of money because they feel like the long-term investment is going to be a lot better for these guys, and they're going to be a lot more prepared to have success as a 21-year-old going into the minor leagues than an 18-year-old. And they're more ready for it. So we're battling that now. I mean, as you can tell, it's right on. It's probably the main thing I'm concerned about, getting our roster correct, getting these kids to come to school because I just think it's the right thing to do.
I want to speak a little bit about arguably one of the best players to come through Razorback baseball, and that's Heston Kjerstad. I mean, you've said it. Nearly everybody's said it. He's a major league hitter. He's ready to go. But where do you think this season you saw the most improvement out of Heston at the plate?
Well, pitch selection would probably be the first thing, and then second, the strength. He kind of made a little bit of a move physically. And then the third thing, I think he's really improved his defense. His routes, running to the ball, just he worked hard. You know, when some guys, you know, got their workouts in on certain days in the off season with us, you know, they would, you know, that would be it for him. Heston would be there on the weekends. He'd be there later, working on more speed work and athleticism type things. And I just think that he was all in this year, and it happens a lot of times. A lot of times kids will have a good freshman year. Sophomore year is just okay compared to what you thought they would do. And then the junior year it can be out of sight if they don't let the draft bother them and pro ball. And Heston wasn't. I think that, you know, if we were heading to Tennessee tomorrow to play our last series on the road, I truly believe Heston would have close to the mid-20s in home runs and probably be hitting at least 370 because we faced good pitching the first 16 games, I guess, whatever we played, and he pretty much wore it out. And I don't even think he was hot, to be honest with you.
And I think that's the thing that gets me the most is because the season got cut short. And I truly think, and I agree with you, he was on pace to have one of the most historic seasons Razorback baseball history. I mean, would you agree with that? I mean, if like you just mentioned, if the season would have kept going, you're looking at a historic year for Heston Kjerstad and one that would be remembered for a long time amongst Razorback fans and especially with you.
I think he would have been one of the three that were invited to the Golden Spikes Awards. I really believe that. You know, he already had 6 home runs and 20 RBIs, and they were pitching around him. They didn't pitch to him sometimes when runners were, you know, on base and didn't give him much to hit. And even when he wasn't really swinging it good, to be honest with you, a couple series, he still got his hits. Opening weekend, they couldn't get him out. And there were going to be more weekends like that. And we had the couple of guys that were hit behind him that could really hit, that I think they were going to have to make a decision on if they wanted to pitch to him or not. And, you know, I think they were going to have to a little bit, and I think he would have put up huge numbers.
I want to ask you one last thing, and I'll pitch it back over to Phil. Do you have any good memories of traveling around with Phil with Razorback baseball? Because I'm getting to know him. I've been doing the show for a couple months. Me and Phil are starting to get to know each other. We're becoming good friends with this, but I need some stories. I need some dirt on Phil. Do you have any good memories of?
Not a whole lot of dirt. Just, you know, Phil's funny. You know, he likes to go running or walking, but then he drinks like 2 gallons of coffee. So I ask him, like, what are you doing there, Phil? And Phil drinks coffee in the morning. A lot of times at breakfast, you know, he'll already be there, or he'll come in and we'll sit and have coffee and talk a bit. But, you know, then when we do the interview before the game at 5 o'clock, Phil's got coffee in his hand again, so he likes his coffee.
He knows that for sure. I miss the chance to step into the batter's box the day before a series starts, Dave, and have you throw behind my head. I'm hoping we can do that next year.
Yeah, I did that once. I'm glad you didn't back up into it. But the swing needs a lot of work. I'll tell you that.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Dave, we'll leave it there. I really appreciate you joining us. It's good to talk to you. I miss being around you and miss being around your team, but I know we'll be together at some point.
We'll get it going again. We're working hard to make sure we've got a really good club next year, so keep an eye on that draft. That's going to be big for the Razorbacks.
We definitely will. Take care, Dave. Say hi to Karen and the girls, and we'll be in touch.
I'll do it. See you later, Phil.
You got it. Dave Van Horn. Arkansas baseball coach. I knew he was going to bring up the coffee because he will add that. That's when we do a lot of our talking. Mornings, hotel breakfasts, over coffee, and lots of bacon. That's one thing I figured out.
So that's the way to your heart.
Yes.
If you're depressed, I need to get you coffee and bacon. Okay.
In a hotel, yeah. That's how this works. The next time you and me stay at a hotel room, you know, that's how it's going to work. Coffee and bacon, and we'll be best friends.
Sounds good to me.
Life.
I'm in.
All right.